Class is in session yet again, even in the summer. Welcome to yet another edition of the Heezy Hoopcast, powered by AnimalHeezy.com. Visit AnimalHeezy.com at your earliest convenience and invite yourself, a loved one, a significant other, a side bitch, a pet, a teacher, a boss, to bitterness. You will find it there. I will continue to expound upon it. And at this time, like I always do, I want to give a more shout out. I want to say rest in peace, my big homie Kahuna. And rest in peace, my nigga Reiju Goku. We gonna continue to hold it down for y'all. And shout out to my nigga Paco with the Addicted to Epic EP. Woke up to this nigga on FaceTime and shit telling me I was laid up, looking like I had malaria and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, told nigga get the fuck out your room on FaceTime. Hey, shout out to my nigga Alicia out of Texas. Took 2 shots with me. Well, not with me. I did the most irresponsible shit I did in 2017 and didn't get no liquor. Yesterday, I did not secure the brown bag before today. So, a nigga sitting here sipping beers and shit. But, you know what I'm saying, we shared a couple memories about my nigga Kahuna, and that's why I'm sipping on it now. And, shit, Hoopcast time. It's a sad day, man. This free agency shit been going crazy, and some of this free agency chaos then hit the Grizzlies finally. My nigga Zebo, my nigga gone. 2-year contract. I think it's 2 years, $24 million. First year guaranteed. Out in Sacramento. And the city of Memphis is in mourning. You know what I'm saying? Not because, you know, anybody passed away, but because we lost some. You know what I'm saying? My nigga Duke Weiser on Twitter. My nigga since elementary school, since 2nd grade. That nigga said that shit went from, when Zebo left, it went from the grindhouse back to the FedEx Forum. Niggas was like, too soon, nigga. Yeah, man, this shit crazy, bro. Even Dragonfly Jones on Twitter. Ain't that nigga from like DC or some shit? He was like, Zebo in Memphis was perhaps the most perfect athlete to city pairing I've ever seen in my life, and I'm sad that it's over. You know what I'm saying? Niggas from outside the city could even see it. So I definitely feel justified in what I'm doing. This is an emergency pod. Like, fuck everything else that's going on in free agency. It's been a whole lot of shit going on. But as far as I'm concerned, this is the biggest move of free agency. You know what I'm saying? This shit is significant. This shit means something. You know what I'm saying? Like my nigga was a Grizzly for years and years. I mean, how many niggas come to Memphis and get their life together? You know what I'm saying? He's a well-documented member of the Jailblazers team. You know, still had some issues here and there in New York and with the Clippers. Excuse me. He's a Hoopcast raw and uncut, baby. But how many people come to Memphis and get their life together? Like, that ain't even a slight on the home team. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, tell me when this happened. Tell me the last time you knew a motherfucker that was like, hey, I'm moving to Memphis. And then you're like, man, that nigga got there. Nah, it usually happens the other way around. Niggas usually leave Memphis and either and get their life together or to get their life together. You know what I'm saying? Zebo was a brilliant case of when it happened the opposite way, which is crazy, which is nuts, which, like, you know, it's significant so far beyond basketball, just on some humanity shit, the humanity of Memphis, where a nigga comes to Memphis and transforms not only his whole personality, but his whole narrative, his whole legacy. A legacy was built in Memphis for a player that fit Memphis like none other. Like, that shit has my argument for Zach Randolph being the greatest Grizzly of all time, for just being maybe not the best Memphis Grizzly of all time, because I kind of think that's Marc Gasol, even, you know, with all the shit Mike Conley Jr. then did and how he held it down. I'm not Paco, man. I'm here to give it up to Mike Conley Jr. He's more than Alex Smith to me. But, you know, just Marc Gasol is nuts, though. Marc Gasol blacked out last season. It was blacking out the season before it. You know, he's in that new vein of players that comes in with a certain skill set that he's revered for, then completely flips that on his ear and gets a whole nother skill set to go with it. And that's why I think Marc Gasol is like the best Grizzly of all time. But Z-Bo is definitely the best at being a Grizzly, the best combination of the basketball and what it means to be a Memphis Grizzly, you know. Let me sip something real quick. But it's like niggas usually leave Memphis to get better or to do better. When Yo Gotti went to Atlanta and started cooking down there, that's when, you know what I'm saying, the nigga career hit another stride. When Drummer Boy left Memphis and went to Atlanta, that was when his career hit another stride. When Young Dolph started fucking off in Atlanta, that's when niggas hit their stride. 3-6 did they thing for a while, you know what I'm saying? They was fucking with Atlanta heavy, and when they really hit mainstream the same way, you know, Dolph and Gotti have, which I think 3-6 had a harder road to hit mainstream, but, you know, even with the Oscar shit, they was in LA. And even in basketball, niggas leave Memphis and go on to better things, like, look at Jason Williams, Shane Battier, Pau Gasol, Maurice Spates, all Grizzlies that left Memphis and won rings. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Z-Bo was destined for a ring, was destined for championship hood, if that's a word. If it ain't, it just became one on the Hoopcast. But I think that nigga got something just as valuable as a ring. And I admit my 100% bias on how I expound upon the significance of this happening. But this nigga came to Memphis. You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't true about Memphis that you hear, but a lot of it is. And this nigga, who already had a reputation under his belt, came to Memphis. Like, it was probably some niggas outside of Memphis that saw that move and was like, oh, that nigga's going to Memphis? Like, how the fuck do you think this is gonna turn out? The same way, you know, niggas thought Rondo on the Kings was gonna turn out, or just J.R. Smith and Melo both going to the Knicks. I don't know. Like, I don't see anybody that forecasted it turning out the way that it did. And the nigga came to Memphis for the Grizzlies and became cuddly, became beloved as a 6'9" gang member. That ain't to front on him. when I say 6'9" gang member, I'm just saying on paper, that shit, the package that scares the shit out of people, black or white, became a cuddly, lovable figure. I mean, this white girl at my job, the Grizzlies came up. Apparently, she spent some time living in Memphis and shit. And she's like, I love the Grizzlies. I love Marc Gasol. And she was even like, I love Nick Calathis when he was there. And I was like, maybe she was just, I don't want to say a Grizz groupie or nothing like that. But I feel like you had to be paying some type of attention to know about Nick Calathis and shit. And I did like Nick Calathis, and she was like, I love Z-Bo. You know what I'm saying? This pasty white girl, I don't mean that in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? But pasty white girl, not from Memphis, spent some time in Memphis and was like, I love Z-Bo, a 6'9" gang member. And she had no idea about any of this. I'm like, do you follow him on Twitter? She's like, yeah, MacBo50. And it's like, all I could do is laugh to myself because she don't even know what that means. She don't even know. She's not aware of any of the undercurrent. And I don't want to ruin it for her. And she's like, I love Z-Bo. He's such a great guy. And this white girl loves, fucking Zach Randolph with his resume up to this point, because this nigga is giving out turkeys and paying MLG and WB bills. The nigga's hugging old ladies and cancer patients. All while his Twitter handle the whole time since Twitter was invented was MacBo50. I don't know. His story, in fact, makes history. Because, this is the Grizzlies of Memphis, and I'm biased towards that Memphis inclination. But this was an expansion team from Vancouver that never had any history. They for damn sure didn't build any history in Vancouver. Who did it? I mean, you could say Kevin Pritchard. Kevin Pritchard was the first person officially signed to the Grizzlies. And he's now the president of the Pacers, or he's in some front office position in the Pacers. You don't know who the fuck Kevin Pritchard is? Who is it? Is it Big Country? Is it Sharif Abdul-Rahim? Is it Greg Anthony? Nah, it's none of them. You know what I'm saying? Hubie Brown began to make history. Jason Williams and them, James Posey, Stromile Swift began to create some history. They built the foundation. They laid the mortar and bricks. But it wasn't no history before Mike Conley, Z-Bo, and Marc Gasol. For this franchise that came from Vancouver. Vancouver left Canada and went to Memphis. Toronto is still struggling to get that national light. How many people can tell me what kind of game Corey Joseph has? You know what I'm saying? Fuck Kyle Lowry. I don't care where he goes in free agency. And apparently nobody else the fuck did either, because he's still in Toronto. Serge Ibaka, I might never see this nigga play again. I didn't watch a single Toronto playoff game. Did you? Did you honestly? Did you watch one? Drake is what I know about that team. But what Z-Bo did, which is the wildest shit ever, they took a team from Canada and brought it to Memphis. And it was an odd fit. Niggas was at the pyramid at first. Now niggas in the Forum. And Z-Bo connected with the city that even niggas outside the city can recognize how well his chemical makeup fit the chemical makeup of the city. And for that, I think he at least has an argument for the greatest Grizzly of all time. This is the legacy upon which future Grizzlies have to build on. And I want to be selfish and have this nigga end his career in Memphis. I think I said that shit even on the podcast that I did with my brother. When he was talking about, Z-Bo leaving, I'm like, he gotta retire in Memphis. He gotta get that jersey retired. He can't go nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? He ain't never meant as much to another franchise as he has in Memphis. And I don't know if, very many people out that weren't just bona fide superstars meant as much to a franchise, to the personality, to the psyche of the franchise as he did. And I want him to not go to Sacramento, because Sacramento is where careers go to expire. Sacramento is where careers go to die. Do I have to run down the list? Rudy Gay got shipped there. And Rudy Gay did work in Sacramento. I watched them Sacramento games and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I like the whole Boogie, Rudy Gay, whoever else the fuck they tried to put around them type dynamic. Even when Rondo was there. But look at Rondo. Rondo fucked up in Dallas and ended up in Sacramento. Rudy Gay ended up in Sacramento. Marco Bellinelli ended up in Dallas, and he got another chance in Charlotte, but it's fucking Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? Marco Bellinelli did get signed to the Warriors. Who else fucked up went to Sacramento? Like, careers go there to die. But as much as you don't like to talk about it, I've never liked talking about it. But Z-Bo started coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Father Time is undefeated. Niggas started getting up there in age and shit. And then you really don't want to think about the end. But it was whispers about, you know what I'm saying, how close Z-Bo was to the end. Because Z-Bo wasn't an extremely athletic, affecting player on the game anyway. And where the game itself is going, fuck the narrative, just what I'm seeing, where the game is going, as much as I hate to say it, especially for niggas like my nigga Rondo and Z-Bo, two of the players that I fuck with the toughest the past 10 years, the game is moving away from their strengths. And I hate to see it. And as much as we know it out here, you can't think a nigga like Z-Bo don't know it. I mean, do you not think it's possible that Z-Bo was thinking about how he's going to transition out of the game? If Memphis couldn't give him 2 years, $24 million, and Sacramento could, and he get to spend his last years in the California sun, last 1 year, 2 years, you think Z-Bo's still playing after these 1 year, 2 years? Like, genuine. That's a genuine question. Like, no type of sideways shit. Do you think if Z-Bo even plays these 2 years that's on his contract, because 1 year is guaranteed, do you think if he plays 2 years that he comes back again with the game continuing to evolve? As far as I'm concerned, Nigga getting paid $24 million to retire in California, which is what every nigga who done ever grinded for year after year after year in Memphis dreams of doing. So, as much as it hurts, I ain't mad. Z-Bo, get that money. Nigga, you that nigga. You the G-GOAT. Greatest Grizzly of all time. And as long as that nigga called niggas and told them that he was gonna take the bag and didn't pull a KD, it's all good. But I definitely think a nigga G and Z-Bo called niggas and shit. Nigga damn near had a breakfast at Miss Polly's about it and shit. So, Chandler Parsons, it's your time, white nigga. You can make this yours, or you could be another trading piece. But Z-Bo, Macbo 50, salute, nigga. Thank you for everything you did for the city, for the squad, for our morale. It's a lot of niggas with fringe franchises, small market teams, with players in basketball and football that don't get to experience what you brought us. Fuck the corny shit. Niggas, you did that. Your mid-range game was crazy. Your post game was crazy. Your presence on the block was crazy. You hoop like so many big black niggas I done seen in Memphis hoop. And you took it to the highest level. The highest Memphis level especially. Nothing but salutes. Congratulations. Job well done. My nigga. And I'm gonna be trying to find a Zach Randolph jersey soon. There gotta be a 30 for 30 on this shit, nigga. What if I told you that a nigga that played for a team called the Jailblazers and continued to punch niggas in the face and shit and have trouble wherever he went to the thuggish ass city in the league and turned his career around and became a model motherfucking citizen and a model motherfucking player, all while still getting at niggas when he had to. Yeah. I got a moment that I made on Twitter, because you can make moments and shit. I just found that shit out today, and I just went ahead and made a Z-Bo moment. You know what I'm saying? And in that, with all the well wishes and shit, I gotta include the moments that even as a Grizzly, as a reform nigga got choked shit out these big hyper light skinned niggas like Blake Griffin. Nigga got to punch a ponytail wearing ass nigga like Steven Adams. That nigga played on a court that whooped that trick played on. Nah, nigga. He go up there with Moses Malone, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But another NBA news, Gordon Hayward. Shout out to the Great White Hope. Oh my God. Sometimes the NBA is predictable in its unpredictability and unpredictable in its predictability. But Gordon Hayward, I did like what that Jazz squad did this year. I almost wish I would have seen him stay and, develop that Jazz franchise and shit. But I'm glad some kind of power player went to the Eastern Conference. I almost would have rather seen him go to Miami, but he did the shit where he was like, I'm going to Boston, or Boston was like, hey, he's coming to us. And he was like, oh, hold up, bitch. We fucking, but you weren't supposed to tell nobody yet. And then they were like, fuck that shit. And they was like, alright, yeah, you know, we own it. You know what I mean? And the niggas going to Boston. So I'm glad a power player ends up back in the East. And I'm excited to see what that nigga ends up doing with that already nice ass Boston squad. I think they was in the Warriors position, not quite as great as the Warriors, even though Tyronn Lue remarked about their coaching and their ability to run plays. I'm not saying they're nearly as good as Golden State, but they had a Golden State thing going on, especially in the Eastern Conference, where they were already a strong team, and then they added a star player. They added an all-star player. You know what I'm saying? Gordon Hayward is nobody's MVP. You know, I don't know what type of all-NBA team he's going to be making, but the nigga's in the Western Conference, and the nigga balls. Like, this nigga balls. Yeah, you catch on. Yeah, I catch you front on Gordon Hayward, bro. Nigga, the conversation is over. So the Celtics team was already a nice-ass loaded team in the Eastern Conference and shit. They just couldn't fuck with LeBron and some superstars. But then they add Gordon Hayward. I'm not going to say it's going to put them over the hump with the Cavs or nothing, but I definitely like the addition to an already nice team. And for whatever reason, it feels a whole lot less super teamy with Isaiah Thomas, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, and, you know, then the rest of outside of the stars, they got a nice roster of depth with all of they, as Shaq would call them, others, with the, you know, Marcus Smart, Avery Bradley. Don't know what they're gonna do with Jay Crowder. Is Jay Crowder out of there yet? I don't think so. But Kelly Olynyk, whatever the fuck, the nigga that be breaking niggas' arms and shit and wearing the ninth grade Mexican thought headband and shit. So congratulations, Gordon Hayward. I wanted to get that Jazz jersey, and I was like, I feel like this nigga might end up going to the Heat or something, so I didn't get it, because I feel like the Heat jersey would have been way harder. But once he went to the fucking Celtics, I was like, okay, I still might go ahead and get that Utah jersey on clearance now, you know what I'm saying? Because it's representative of a special time, the only special 2-year, 3-year window that they had where anybody even gave a fuck about them, and nobody gave a fuck about it because they wasn't making the playoffs, and they finally made the playoffs and shit. And I like that Joe Johnson, Boris Diaw, Gordon Hayward, Rudy Gobert shit, George Hill shit they had going on. And it seemed like Utah is back scrounging again. Drew Holiday got signed for 5 years. He got the Michael Conley deal. Like, we not gonna do better, so we gonna choose up. And I hope it means something for the Pelicans. I hope it means something for the West, but there's still that whole Golden State thing sitting at the top. So it's just like everybody's competing for an opportunity to get their head fucking chopped off by Golden State. And head fucking chopped off, I think decapitated is the appropriate way to the most appropriate term to use to describe what's going to happen if ever you go up against Golden State and you're a member of the Western Conference that's not the Rockets. And the Rockets, you might get your head chopped off, but you might try to swing your neck out the way and only get half of it cut, and they might gotta swipe your shit in 2 or 3 tries and shit, so you get to live a little bit longer. But everybody else, y'all walk up, that's it. But anywho, so this shit over with, man. 4th of July, I wish everybody a happy 4th of July. I hope no Jason Pierre-Paul shit happens. Pop them fireworks, drink that liquor, smoke that dope, and celebrate. Celebrate because niggas got days off, not because of all of this we were still slave shit. Yes, we were still slaves. And yes, we celebrate, you know, some white independence, even as we still fight for our own independence. But we could take it back little by little by blowing bottle rockets at racists today. So if you got a chance to throw some barbecue bologna or shoot a Roman candle at a racist, toss a smoke bomb in his car if he leave his window down with a Confederate plate on it, you would have done your job, and the ancestors would have been proud. So happy 4th of July to everybody. Had to do an emergency one. I wouldn't have did no fucking 4th of July pod if it wasn't for this Zebo shit. Shout out to my nigga Zebo though. Shout out to the city of Memphis. Shout out to the north side, the south side, the east side. Hey, we out of here. AnimalHeeds.com.